What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Grasslands cabin. This is part 2 of 2. So essentially we're going to start out where we left off, and that's jumping right into the second floor of the building. Right now I'm just adding a little bit of architectural detail. It's kind of like an overhang that'll pop over that front dormer. And we're going to do this for all the first level dormers. Nice peaked roof look. I'm adding more of that bone block in there just to give it that checkery pattern. Cool. So now we go ahead and we add one more layer to the cake that is this house. This will give it a cool wooded look. See how that makes that kind of pattern. Do that for the full second story. Okay. So we're gonna have to extend the timbering up a little bit, because if we were to just put the floor down here, the ceiling would look, well, at least like the floor would look really, really low compared to where the windows are gonna be. So we'll continue our timbering skyward. And we're going to keep in mind while doing this where our roof line is going to be. I want to create kind of a cool grand entranceway or main area of the house. And it always gets tricky around the fireplace, so we'll show you how I do that in a second. Running into that sort of visual error where now I don't know if that's gonna look good. No. Well, maybe if we do it right. We'll just make the chimney kind of go up all the way. Alright. And we're continuing that lost block look. See, doesn't that look cool? Oh, it's awesome. Alright. Neat. We'll just continue this. Get rid of that. No, that doesn't look good either. There we go. A lot better. And we'll continue to use the stripped birch. We'll use it as a ceiling. This has a cool texture to it, kind of like an old building, kind of rustic roof look. And then the ceiling in the in that grand hall area is just kind of going to be zip that. So the ceiling in this grand entrance area is going to be a lot higher than the rest of the building, which is kind of cool, and it'll give it a grander feel. Alright. Just gotta figure out this puzzle here. How to make the stairwell work. Because you gotta remember your clearance is restricted, so you gotta know where the limits are. Just keep adding timbering as we go. And a lot of this whole thing is really just improvisation. So like when you run into a little issue, you just try to come up with a practical way of solving it. We'll continue to add that stripped birch around. There we go. Alright. Okay. Pretty good. Throw it in for the roof. Alright, now we've gone ahead and just filled in that roof area. This gives you something cleaner to work with. Now we're going to timber up the second floor of the building, and we'll speed right along here, and you'll see it when it's done. Like, it'll look pretty good. Now it's starting to look like a house. Cool. Now we've established what the second floor is essentially going to look like, and it's kind of like this kind of goofy shape. And to add on a little bit of extra detail, what I'm going to do for these main rooms, I'm going to go ahead and add a kind of like a little jutted out window feature. Okay. Just like that. Alright, so now let's go ahead and fill in the walls and establish where our windows are going to be. We'll add another one of those little jutted out window features. Nice. Perfect. It's really starting to take shape at this point, which is cool. Alright. Now I like to use the brown window panes just because it gives it kind of like a dirty, rustic look. We'll do that for all the upstairs windows. Cool. Nice. I've almost completely timbered this house, which is awesome. Just got a little bit left. We'll do these roof lines. And it's going to be kind of an interesting slope on these jutted out parts of the house, or these L's. About right. Alright, we'll give this. Does that look cool? I don't know. Oh, for goodness sakes. Alright. Just had to get rid of that. Now, you could do like an oak roof like that. But you kind of want to change up the color pattern at least a little bit for the roof. And you'll see what I do later. Okay. Now we're just establishing where the stairwell begins and ends up on the second floor. Keeping in mind important clearances. There we go. Go ahead and add in a floor. I'm gonna see what it looks like with these main standard blocks, but what I'll probably end up doing, I'm gonna end up doing a half block on there, just so you have some sort of distance between the floor and the window. It does make placing things like beds a little interesting, but there are ways to get around that. Gotta add some more ceiling in down at our entryway. Okay, looks pretty good. Nice. Doesn't that look nice? So now we'll add in a little bit of birch in here to finish off these rooms. We'll start with this one. I'm also going to put a lantern in here, and I'll hang the lantern from the ceiling. I love the lanterns. You could do it that way, but a better way to do it is really to take, especially if your lantern is so high up, get a piece of fence and just kind of suspend it. One, it adds a little bit of intrigue and character to your lantern hangings. We'll do that for all the different little side L rooms. It's always good to keep your lanterns kind of at the same level, and you'll see later on how I do that. Right now I'm just going to go through and populate this interior. I'm going to add flower pots and things like that. I'm going to build a little bookshelf. I love the barrels because you can make it look like a cool, you know, kind of covered thing. Throw up some paintings, and we'll build a quick kitchen. And I'll do a tutorial on how I do kitchens later on. Just save us some time. But it's fully functional, which is the cool thing. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of texture to the flooring. Just like when you add texture to the foundation or the exteriors of the buildings as well. We're gonna go in and do that for the floors, and you'll see how this turns out. It turns out pretty cool. It just kind of breaks up things a little bit and adds a little visual value. And we'll use 3 different tones of wood. We'll do spruce, dark oak, and then also I believe we're just going to use like a standard oak. We'll do this for all the rooms. It a really comfortable, almost cozy look when things aren't perfect. Add a little skull here and there. I like using sandstone on the ceiling just because it's a very smooth texture and it's very consistent. And using those half slabs kind of make the area around pop a little bit more. And I'm also leaving like little gaps in the ceiling as well, because what I want to do is hang some lanterns. I'm gonna hang them at the same elevation as all the other hanging lanterns on the first floor. The key is consistency, but subtle consistencies. You'll see, I'm gonna make sure these are kind of low. Yeah, see, that looks so much better. Back to the stairwell, I want to add a little bit of texture here. So I'm going to use the sandstone blocks. So it's as if, the sandstone fencing. So it's as if, you know, the wall was kind of removed and now everything's exposed. This makes it kind of fun. Gives the stairwell some appeal. Looks silly. Cool. So first floor is complete. So now we can move on to the second floor. And we'll also do some timbering. We'll establish where our walls are going to be. And you can do this however you want. Again, using the same toned walls as downstairs. Break up this floor a little bit by adding a little bit of texture. We'll go in and add more walls, get everything kind of sorted out in terms of where everything's going to be. So establishing like the main rooms and everything like that. Now we kind of did shoot ourselves in the foot a little bit because we're using a half block as the floor panel. We'll get to that later. It boils down to you can do doors to these rooms, but it's just gonna look kind of odd. Primarily because your door is going to be like one half block up. Which is isn't exactly ideal. Yeah, doesn't that look nice? A little space. I'm all about nooks. Creating all sorts of fun little nooks. So here we are at that build challenge right here where it's like, do you put a door or do you just ignore it? And I think in this case, I might just ixnay the door to say no. Go for a 2-block high entry point, but use some of that paneling to, yeah, we'll use the sandstone just for consistency. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Kind of makes your doorways pop a little bit more. Nice. That's pretty good. And that, you know, you can arrange and do whatever you want with it. And we'll add some more timbering. Then what I'll do is I'll add in a ceiling as well. And again, we're going to use that cut sandstone slab. And we're going to go in and just level it all off. Yes. Okay. Now let's establish our roof. Again, we're gonna add in some dormers, or peaks, or whatever you want to call it. Alright, sweet. We'll do that for a couple different sides. Add in a little reference point. I'm gonna cut out this a little bit. I really want this roof to be interesting, and I want there to be so many different levels to this house. Visual levels, of course. Alright, and we'll do that to the other side in a minute. I'm still deciding if that's what I want to do. Okay, let's timber this bad boy up. Other peaks. Cut out a bit of that ceiling so we can make that roof come down a little bit. All right, we are getting close. Gonna finish up timbering the roof line. It'll be easier to add the roof panels later on. Cool. Really starting to get an idea of what this is gonna look like. So now what we'll do is we'll extend this roof line. Okay. And we did that for all the different peaks. Alright, now let's go look at our chimney because I really think we need to dive back in and resolve this whole thing because we got to make the chimney come out somewhere, but it's got to be somewhat accurate. Upstairs. I think maybe that's block stone bricks. There we go. All about that accuracy. Cool. So now we can go back outside and we see that our chimney is right there. And we'll use the stair blocks again. Okay. And from a distance, this will look kind of neat. It'll look like a raggedy old chimney. Okay, see? Perfect. I like that. Alright. Now I'm gonna take a flower pot and just put that right up there. I'm not gonna put a flower in it though. Okay, so I'm using the orange stairways to make my roof line, and it gives it kind of this. This kind of ties everything together, oddly enough. You'll see the end result is fairly fashionable. We'll do this for all of the roof right now. And I'm gonna use half slabs and full blocks and things like that, especially for these wings. And you'll see it'll have kind of a tapered appearance. Cool. Now we're not done with the roof just yet, because there's a couple things that I like to do to roofs. But first, let's try playing around with this little jutted out window. You can kind of do it like that, make it really easy for yourself. But it's always fun to kind of play around with things, kind of improvise and see what looks best. And you know, I always find, especially when you're working on something, move away from it. Like, don't stay super, super close to it if you can, you know, if you can move away from your work to take a look at it. That makes a world of difference. And essentially just play around with things until you find a little design system that works for you. Now that's too cluttery. We're getting somewhere. Alright. Got a pretty good look to it. This is how I was doing the door, or the little winged tapered roofs. I doubt a roof like this would be good in a snowstorm. Okay. So time to make our roof look a little bit, dare I say, thicker. You know, we'll add some little features here and there to really make this roof come to life. So I'm going to use some orange fencing. We're just going to apply that to all the roof lines. Cool. Perfect. Add some detail there. Alright. We'll add some staircases to the interior of the roof. Now, what are we doing here? I don't know. Seems a little heavy. Nah, that just looks stupid. Go ahead and add another little. This one's going to be a little bit more on the simple side. Cool. Now we'll try to finagle this. I like to add stairwells to the underside of my roof just to give it a thicker appearance, and it kind of eases out the step look. You'll see this technique everywhere. Anybody will do that. But it gives the roof a really nice, thick, full look. We're gonna do that for everything, and it's probably one of the more time-consuming things, because what you'll find is you'll get stuck in the little corners where you can't maneuver as well. So you kind of have to get creative with things. We'll just add one more layer around the building with the orange roof panels. And don't be afraid to cover up your windows. Yeah. Come on. There we go. Okay. We are getting close here. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Okay, so I like to add little supports. Something's got to support the roof. You can have fun with this. I like the holes in the staircase because they give it kind of a buttress look. There we go. Oh. There we go. Nice. So this is my design for window boxes, and there's a couple different ways you can do this. But I think this one's kind of the most practical. Looks the best. Add some signs. Alright, cool. And then I add trapdoors to the bottom of them, just to give it a supported look. Very cool. Really enjoying adding bells to the outsides of buildings. Gives it an interesting, almost utilitarian look, but just looks like it works. Add a nice front door. Alright, cool. We gotta add one to the back. Alright, now we need to make a little patio, and we'll make our entranceways grass. I'm just gonna use some cobblestone. And above the grass, you know, it's always fun to add, you know, just standard cobblestone, and then when you've submerged into the grass, using the mossy cobblestone. And we'll do something similar for the front. Cobblestone half slabs. Maybe some stairs. No, that ain't it. There we go. Oh, goodness. Cool. Cool. We are coming up on the end here. Now I like to add in a little bit of rough, worn down terrain. Slap that grass with a shovel. Spanky. Cool. Now we've got a nice little entryway. We'll add some foliage as well, so it looks like the building's been there for a little bit. And we're gonna make it crawl up the side of the building too. Okay, add some odds and ends around there, an anvil and a barrel. We'll add a nice little lamp on the outside as well. Not my favorite design for a lamppost, but she'll do. She'll do. There we go. Cool. And there you have it. That is the Grasslands cabin in a nutshell. Very easy build if you follow these steps. Have fun with it. Send me what you've built. That sort of thing is awesome. Let me know what you think. Feel free to drop a like, drop a comment. Be sure to subscribe. We also do Twitch Live every week. We'll get to that later. Yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a great one.